So my wife and I started a practice when we were away this past New Year's. This essentially what we did was anytime we were to eat food, we sat down, we actually kind of like just honored the food. And it's in a way, it's like kind of saying grace, but we didn't actually say anything out loud. We just sort of said, all right, well, whatever was here had a life. We took like what journey did this food have to go under, to take to end up on this plate? The wheat that was grown and then ground into flour, the chickens that laid the eggs, the truck drivers that brought everything to where we were, the chef who actually cooked it and put it together, and the person who brought it out to us. All whatever actually ended up in front of us had a really long journey to get to us. And so we just took a moment and started honoring this. And it really, sometimes we've kept that since we've come back, but we forget. So sometimes we meals like, oh, we didn't do it, or like we have been, but we're like took the first bite, like, all right, we got to stop and do that. But it ends up really transforming how we experience our meal. We actually, instead of just like, this is food that I could have shoved in my gullet because I'm supposed to eat dinner now, it's kind of like taking like, there was a long journey from ingredient to plate, from where it started in the world. Even if it was processed food, if it was something that was made in a factory, still took a long journey from that to here, and taking that time to really honor that. It really has made a tremendous difference. We find that we eat more slowly. We actually appreciate the food in a deeper level. We can actually appreciate, hey, this fish had a life, whether it was in a fishery or whether it was caught off the coast of Maine. Okay, sure. This had a life, and now we are receiving the benefits of this. And it for me, it started to think in broader, like, what other things can we do this for? So we have a cat and a dog. The cat is 13, the dog is 9, and this past weekend, or a week and a half ago, we adopted another dog. And she's, where everyone's still adjusting, and she's super cute, and I love her and all that jazz. But we only know her story up so far back. So she was rescued after Hurricane Harvey down in Texas. And then we know from that point forward. But she's 3. So that was 4 months ago. The vets estimate that she's 3. So she had a whole life. She had a couple of years, whether she was a stray, whether she was in a family, like no idea, until like she was found and she was spayed and microchipped and brought up here. And so she's had a real whirlwind of a last few months. And it's, we every so often I pause, like, it's amazing that your journey ended you here in our house. And like how, like what crazy circumstances have brought you here right now. And we can only consciously know some of them. We just know like what were in her adoption papers, and we know what the foster has said, but like she had a whole life, and like that's here. And we take a moment and say, we really grateful for you're here, even though, she does the typical dog things. She was left alone for an hour on yesterday and went through a box of tissues and, tore up the pillow. Like, okay, yep, well, you're a dog. That's what's going to happen until like everybody gets acclimated. But still, like, there's still an honoring of her journey, an honoring of our journeys that's brought her here. And I've even got as far as thinking, like, what other things can we honor? As I'm an acupuncturist, so if I go to needle somebody, if I take a moment and just like honor like the manufacturing process of the needles, and I take a moment and say like all of the work that's gone into this for me to find them online, buy them, get them here, every step of the way that's gotten them to here where they're actually being used on this person, that's actually felt really different for me as I've treated somebody. I don't know if my clients have felt different. I don't know if they've noticed a difference. I don't even know what sort of difference they would notice, but I've noticed a difference, and it's been really fascinating for me to be like, I'm slow with my process. Like, I'm honoring this needle. Like, my goodness, like you've had a journey to get here, and now I'm putting you to use. It slows the process down, and it adds a whole nother layer of appreciation to the entire event. And I'm wondering, what other things can I do that for? My toothbrush, right? This bell here on the table that I rang, my computer, right? My car, how do I take this same sort of, like, everything that's happened to it? And there are things like, okay, I drove off a snowbank a couple of weeks ago, and my mirror, my driver's side mirror, has got duct tape on it to hold it in place. And so it needs to be fixed, yes. But how can I still find honoring this whole process? So it really adds a richness of life. When we sit here in meditation, the practice that we often do in mindfulness is just what's here and welcome it and say, like, I'm not judging you, or if there is judgment, I'm not judging the judging. Like, okay, whatever's here is okay. And one way that, I found useful for myself that I pass on is like we treat it as if we're friendly to it, like we're greeting an old friend. So you might hear the noise of the clock or a car horn outside or a cell phone vibrate. Like, okay, great, that's part of here. And how do we welcome that in anyway? And then just another twist on that, instead of just welcoming, is like, how do we welcome with honor? How do we welcome with respect? Totally honor that this is here right now. It adds a whole nother dimension to our experience, as opposed to the resistance of fighting, and this is a problem, and I need to fix this, and when is this going to be over, and this distraction, and how much longer is this going to take? And there's a way to receive these things just in a different perspective, and it adds a whole nother layer of dimension to your experience. So I'm going to invite you to try that out for yourself tonight, or tomorrow, or going forward, and see, like, what is it like if you honor your clothes as you get dressed? What's it like if you honor the pillowcases as you put them on a pillow, or your bed sheets as you put them down? Like, how could that affect how you do it, or how you sleep that night? I'm curious. I'm not promising any specific, reaction or effect. I'm curious. So I'm going to invite you to be curious with me and let me know what you experience, because I believe that there's this whole layer of experience that we can have to our life, that we can add, that adds richness to our lives, that just by honoring whatever shows up. So I honor all of you for showing up tonight, and I thank you for whatever your individual journeys has brought you here tonight. Everybody watching at home, whatever your journey has been that brought you to click on that link and watch this, I appreciate that. And have yourselves a pleasant evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.